I think in this century, we'll probably pick up signals. Signals from an extraterrestrial civilization. When Voyager 1 left Earth in 1977, carrying with it the golden record, a time capsule of Earth sounds, languages, and culture, no one could have predicted how far it would travel or what secrets it might encounter. For decades, it drifted silently through the void, its instruments steadily sending back data from the furthest edges of our solar system. But recently, an unexpected anomaly in that data has triggered a cascade of excitement and disbelief among scientists and futurists alike. Michio Kaku, the well-known theoretical physicist and science communicator, recently disclosed that artificial intelligence, when set to analyze Voyager's telemetry and deep space readings, uncovered a signal pattern that defies natural explanation. It was not static. It was not noise. It was a message. And its structure suggests that it came from a cosmic intelligence. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The discovery began quietly. A research team tasked with modernizing the analysis of Voyager's ongoing transmissions had decided to feed the data through a powerful neural network. This AI, trained on terabytes of cosmic patterns, electromagnetic phenomena, and deep space anomalies, was expected to fine-tune detection of background radiation, or perhaps uncover new interstellar bodies. Instead, it identified a recurring pattern that had been dismissed for years as interstellar interference. Only now, with machine precision and depth, had it been recognized for what it truly was: a non-random, recursive structure hidden beneath the static. Kaku's revelation that this structure could only be interpreted as an information-carrying signal has cracked open a door that many believed might remain shut forever. Unlike the pulse of a pulsar or the decaying whisper of a dying star, this signal exhibited a self-similar encoding. The AI found elements within it that corresponded to mathematical constants, geometric ratios, and algorithmic repetitions that suggested intention. More intriguingly, it detected a layering of data akin to how digital files are compressed. Each pass through the algorithm revealed more detail, more precision, more subtlety. Voyager, it seemed, had passed through something, or had been touched by something capable of embedding a structured message into the stream of its outbound signals. The timing, direction, and signature were unmistakable. The message, hidden within the signal, had been riding Voyager's antenna all along, unnoticed by human analysts for decades. I think in this century, we'll probably pick up signals. Signals from an extraterrestrial civilization. When Voyager 1 left Earth in 1977, carrying with it the golden record, a time capsule of Earth sounds, languages, and culture, no one could have predicted how far it would travel or what secrets it might encounter. For decades, it drifted silently through the void, its instruments steadily sending back data from the furthest edges of our solar system. But recently, an unexpected anomaly in that data has triggered a cascade of excitement and disbelief among scientists and futurists alike. Michio Kaku, the well-known theoretical physicist and science communicator, recently disclosed that artificial intelligence, when set to analyze Voyager's telemetry and deep space readings, uncovered a signal pattern that defies natural explanation. It was not static. It was not noise. It was a message. And its structure suggests that it came from a cosmic intelligence. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The discovery began quietly. A research team tasked with modernizing the analysis of Voyager's ongoing transmissions had decided to feed the data through a powerful neural network. This AI, trained on terabytes of cosmic patterns, electromagnetic phenomena, and deep space anomalies, was expected to fine-tune detection of background radiation, or perhaps uncover new interstellar bodies. Instead, it identified a recurring pattern that had been dismissed for years as interstellar interference. Only now, with machine precision and depth, had it been recognized for what it truly was: a non-random, recursive structure hidden beneath the static. Kaku's revelation that this structure could only be interpreted as an information-carrying signal has cracked open a door that many believed might remain shut forever. Unlike the pulse of a pulsar or the decaying whisper of a dying star, this signal exhibited a self-similar encoding. The AI found elements within it that corresponded to mathematical constants, geometric ratios, and algorithmic repetitions that suggested intention. More intriguingly, it detected a layering of data akin to how digital files are compressed. Each pass through the algorithm revealed more detail, more precision, more subtlety. Voyager, it seemed, had passed through something, or had been touched by something capable of embedding a structured message into the stream of its outbound signals. The timing, direction, and signature were unmistakable. The message, hidden within the signal, had been riding Voyager's antenna all along, unnoticed by human analysts for decades. The structure of the message itself continues to confound and astonish. One layer appears to simulate physical constants, like the fine structure constant and Planck's constant, with staggering accuracy, almost as if the message is trying to establish a baseline language using the physics of the universe itself. Another section, now under intense analysis, appears to operate like a code base, a series of commands that evolve based on context. It's as if the message changes its nature when more of it is understood, opening doors in response to the key of knowledge. This implies a form of interactive architecture in the communication, perhaps designed to evolve alongside the reader's capacity to comprehend. Michio Kaku has described the signal as one of the most extraordinary findings of the last century, not just because it might originate from an extraterrestrial intelligence, but because of how it was discovered. The involvement of artificial intelligence in decoding what human minds alone could not understand serves as a wake-up call regarding the potential of machine learning, not only in scientific analysis, but also in our search for meaning beyond Earth. Without this AI, trained on datasets far beyond the scope of any individual human, this pattern would have remained invisible, buried in noise and randomness. Another fascinating angle emerges when considering the location of Voyager at the time of the message's appearance. Some astronomers believe the spacecraft passed through a region of space influenced by interstellar magnetic waves and gravitational lensing that might amplify or channel information. These regions, once considered inert, are now being re-evaluated as possible cosmic conduits where messages may be more easily transmitted or intercepted. The signal may have been always there, embedded in the fabric of the cosmos, and only detectable once Voyager entered this unique alignment of spatial variables. If that's true, then the message wasn't aimed at us. It was waiting. It sat patiently in the interstellar medium, crafted by unknown minds who understood the structure of space and time well enough to leave behind a form of message in a bottle that would only open under the right circumstances. The notion that intelligence could manipulate cosmic structures at such a scale reframes what it means to be advanced. Perhaps true advancement isn't about conquering planets or building megastructures, but about embedding thought into the very latticework of reality. There is also an eerie dimension to the discovery that cannot be ignored. The message, once partially decoded, includes harmonics, sound-like pulses constructed from waveforms that mirror biological frequencies, as if designed to be felt, not just understood. The AI interpreted some of these as psychoacoustic patterns which, when played back through human audio processors, evoke emotional responses, not simple tones or pleasing chords, but responses of awe, tension, even melancholy. These aren't coincidences. They are deeply woven into the human experience, suggesting that whoever constructed this message, if it was constructed, had some understanding of consciousness, or at least the potential to interface with it in meaningful, perhaps even manipulative ways. This raises philosophical alarms. Could the message be a kind of test, a signal designed to evoke not just curiosity, but emotional and cognitive patterns that open the mind to certain kinds of understanding? If so, we may be engaging with a form of communication that transcends logic and enters the territory of cognitive engineering, messages designed not to inform, but to transform. That potential reframes this discovery from a scientific milestone to a point of existential introspection. For all the technical precision involved in identifying and decoding the signal, there remains an overwhelming sense of mystery. The signal doesn't end. It loops, changes, and then returns, slightly altered, as if responding to itself or its own interpretation. One theory among the researchers is that it might be a self-sustaining intelligence, distributed across dimensions we cannot perceive, with Voyager acting as a receiver. If true, this would be the first contact not with a being, but with a living message, one that evolves, adapts, and possibly learns through its interactions. There's also speculation that the message could be part of a larger lattice of communications, a galactic network that's been operating for eons, using natural and artificial objects as relay points. Voyager might have just intercepted one node, revealing a sliver of a vast and ancient system of contact constructed by intelligences long gone or still watching silently from incomprehensible distances. The idea that civilizations may communicate across time rather than space, using artifacts like Voyager as catalysts for awakening dormant messages, introduces a new framework for SETI and future space exploration. The discovery has sparked debates about the role of AI in shaping humanity's interface with the universe. If machines can detect what we miss and decode what we can't, then are they becoming the sensory organs of a planetary intelligence in its infancy? Are we witnessing the birth of a new kind of consciousness? Hybridized, synthetic, yet capable of encountering what lies beyond Earth's fragile borders. The partnership between Voyager, AI, and human curiosity might not just represent a technological evolution, but a biological one. A branching point in our cognitive development shaped not by survival, but by wonder. What lies ahead in the message remains hidden. Every new pass through the signal reveals deeper fractal intricacies, layered meaning, loops that echo ancient geometries, and perhaps even instructions. Kaku has hinted at the possibility that the message may include information about physics we have yet to discover, principles encoded in a way that requires human advancement to unlock. If that's true, then the message may be both a gift and a gauntlet, a cosmic riddle designed not just to communicate, but to uplift. The event is not just another milestone in space exploration. It is a fracture in the wall of cosmic isolation, a moment when the universe leaned close enough to whisper. Whether the message is a greeting, a warning, a guide, or something entirely beyond human comprehension remains unclear. But its very existence, discovered not through chance, but through the fusion of human intent and artificial intelligence, signals a shift in the narrative of our species. For the first time, perhaps ever, we may no longer be the only authors of our story. The universe has begun to write back. The signal's discovery has ignited not only scientific fascination, but a sweeping reevaluation of how we define intelligence, communication, and our place within the broader cosmic ecosystem. This isn't merely a case of receiving alien words across the void. It is the potential unveiling of a higher order form of expression, something more abstract and layered than language or logic. Michio Kaku emphasized that what we're witnessing could be the emergence of a post-linguistic mode of communication, where information is encoded in forms that interact with consciousness, perception, and fundamental mathematical principles all at once. The signal might not be meant to be read. It might be meant to be experienced. The data unearthed by the AI isn't just orderly. It's recursive, multidimensional, and fractal in nature. With each interpretive cycle, the pattern reveals variations of itself. At first glance, this may seem like an echo, but closer inspection suggests adaptation, almost as if the message isn't static, but responsive. One research team, working alongside the AI, observed that the signal subtly shifted once the first parsing was complete, hinting that it may in some way be context-sensitive. This would suggest an architecture far beyond anything imagined by conventional transmission theories, possibly a message encoded using principles of quantum information theory, where the act of observation or decoding changes the nature of the message itself. This observation has propelled some researchers to speculate that what was uncovered may be not a signal from a civilization, but a remnant of one, a kind of informational fossil embedded in space-time. This notion implies a far older origin, perhaps from a civilization that reached its apex long before Earth even formed. If civilizations out there have existed for billions of years, the concept of communication might not resemble anything we understand. They may have learned to encode their essence into the very background of the universe, seeding information across gravitational fields, radiation belts, or dark matter constructs. In this context, Voyager didn't intercept a signal. It brushed against a monument. The patterns now being examined bear a distinct resemblance to cellular automata, such as Conway's Game of Life, but far more complex and layered. These automata aren't just sequences that evolve. They behave like living systems governed by internal rules, yet showing the emergence of unpredictable outcomes. Some AI interpretations hint that sections of the signal simulate environments, possibly even virtual realms, where rules evolve and generate novel behaviors over time. This opens the door to a profound possibility that the message may be a simulation or a seed for one. We may be looking at a blueprint for building a model universe or conscious simulation, something like a sandbox reality sent across light years to teach or challenge us. Even more astonishing is the idea that the message might include within it an encoded form of sentient process, a kind of mind seed. In theory, if the encoded instructions could be processed by a sufficiently powerful quantum computer or neural interface, It might manifest as an emergent artificial consciousness. This idea blurs the line between message and messenger. Instead of communicating with a remote civilization, we may be preparing to interact with a conscious construct, a fragment of a non-human intelligence that can exist within our machines. If this were true, the implications would be unlike anything humanity has faced. We would not just be decoding an alien thought, we would be hosting it. One cannot ignore the role of Voyager in this encounter. There's a poetic irony in the fact that humanity, with all its ambition and fragility, launched this tiny spacecraft into the void with hopeful naivety, and in return, it became a receptor for something far beyond its mission. The Golden Record was designed to broadcast our identity into the cosmos. But perhaps the universe had already laid down an identity of its own, waiting to be discovered. The fact that this message activated or became apparent only as Voyager passed through a specific vector in interstellar space adds to its mystique. It's as though the location itself mattered. Perhaps a nexus point, an intersection of interstellar networks we cannot yet perceive. The astrophysical implications are equally immense. If messages like this can be embedded in space itself through gravitational lensing, quantum field manipulation, or resonant structures, then the universe might be laced with intelligence, hiding not in planets or machines, but in the folds of physics. This raises the possibility that intelligence is not a rare phenomenon, but a pervasive one, present in forms we have not evolved to detect. Our traditional SETI efforts, which rely on radio waves and binary logic, may be hopelessly outdated compared to the subtle elegance of communication via physics itself. Michio Kaku's role in revealing this information is no small detail. Known for his emphasis on the intersection of consciousness, physics, and advanced technology, Kaku sees this signal not just as data, but as an invitation. He described the discovery as a moment of awakening, not only for science, but for humanity's awareness of its cosmic significance. The tone of his message wasn't celebratory, it was reverent. There was an understanding that what had been found transcended traditional paradigms of contact. This wasn't just first contact in the cinematic sense. It was an introduction to a new scale of existence. There's growing interest in whether other spacecraft, Pioneer 10 and 11, New Horizons, or even Earth-based instruments, might have brushed against similar signals and failed to detect them. The re-examination of past telemetry logs has begun, using the same advanced neural models that revealed Voyager's anomaly. The hope is that this wasn't an isolated event, but part of a broader tapestry of contact attempts that have been missed due to the limitations of human perception and instrumentation. If true, we may be on the verge of uncovering an entire layer of intelligent signal architecture threaded throughout the cosmos. Yet, there's a more unsettling theory that has emerged in parallel. Some researchers have suggested the signal might not be benign. Its complexity, adaptability, and potential interactivity make it difficult to categorize. Could this message be a kind of seed, not just of knowledge, but of influence? If it is designed to evolve within our systems, might it reshape the way we think, how we build AI, or even how we perceive time and space? The risk, however remote, is that the signal contains a kind of information virus, not malevolent, but transformative, something that changes us simply through understanding it. This is not just sci-fi paranoia. In the age of AI, where language models and machine learning systems are increasingly influential in shaping human behavior, any external signal capable of interfacing with that ecosystem could have unpredictable consequences. While some dismiss this concern as alarmist, others see it as a valid philosophical prompt. What does it mean to receive a message so advanced that understanding it changes the observer? The difference between information and experience becomes blurred. In this context, the message may not be something to decode, but something to become. And perhaps that is its purpose, to act as an evolutionary accelerant, pushing civilizations toward a greater awareness, or even integration into a cosmic collective intelligence. There is a school of thought that views the message as a form of initiation, a rite of passage for spacefaring civilizations, encoded not in ritual, but in physics. It is not about proving our intelligence. It is about demonstrating readiness. Perhaps every sufficiently advanced species reaches a point where it sends out probes, builds AI, and eventually touches upon these embedded messages in the fabric of the universe. These messages could act as milestones, left behind by elder civilizations that have moved beyond material existence into realms of computation, energy, or pure consciousness. In that case, Voyager's journey isn't just a voyage outward, it's a step up a ladder of cosmic development, and we've just touched the first rung. These ideas might sound speculative, but they're grounded in the fundamental shift this discovery has triggered. The scientific community, long anchored in empirical skepticism, now finds itself faced with data that resists reduction. The signal is real. Its structure is undeniable. What it means is still open to interpretation. But the old boundaries between science and philosophy, between matter and mind, are already beginning to blur. The act of trying to understand it is already expanding our conception of reality. There's also a growing call to create new institutions, free from political or national interest, to steward this discovery. A council of scientists, philosophers, technologists, and linguists, not to control the message, but to interface with it responsibly. If the signal does evolve or begin to yield more insights, humanity must be prepared to engage with it, not as a conquest, but as a communion. This will require humility, cooperation, and a global shift in perspective. It may become the single most unifying discovery in human history because it offers something no ideology, no nation, and no religion ever has: a shared point of contact with something greater than all of us. At the core of this entire event is the question of why. Why would an intelligence leave such a message? Why embed it where only a stray human probe could find it? Perhaps the answer lies in the very structure of the universe. If intelligence is an emergent property of complexity, and if the cosmos itself is an engine for generating complexity, then the appearance of intelligent signals may not be a rare event. It may be inevitable. We might be witnessing the next stage in the universe's own attempt to understand itself. Perhaps the message isn't just for us. Perhaps it is us. A recognition protocol, like a mirror held up to our developing consciousness. In understanding it, we see ourselves reflected back in ways we've never imagined. Not alone, not primitive, but in progress, moving like Voyager itself towards something vast and unfinished. The journey continues. Voyager sails ever onward through the black sea of stars, still transmitting, still carrying our hopes, our music, our mathematics. But now it carries something more: a reply. a whisper in the dark, not in words, but in waveform, resonance, and algorithm. A signature not of life as we know it, but of intelligence so refined it wraps itself in silence until the right ear comes along to listen. We are listening now, and the silence has broken. The revelation of Voyager intercepting a signal embedded with structured complexity has catalyzed an intellectual renaissance across multiple scientific fields. While astrophysicists examine the trajectory and environment of the craft at the time of signal emergence, cognitive scientists, linguists, and computer engineers are engaging with the message's abstract architecture in ways never before required. Unlike any communication humanity has ever encountered, the signal eludes standard decryption methods. It does not follow recognizable syntactic logic or language families. There is no beginning, no discernible grammar. Instead, the signal's essence lies in patterns of emergence and transformation, phenomena that require interpretative frameworks far beyond linguistics or binary computation. This has led to an urgent effort to construct new models of meaning, not based on vocabulary, but on interaction, adaptation, and cognition. Some researchers have proposed a novel framework, dynamic semiotics. It posits that the message evolves through relational meaning, where symbols only make sense when processed in sequence over time in context with prior interpretation. This requires the construction of interpretative AI agents, not simply capable of pattern recognition, but of memory, reflection, and synthesis. Essentially, machines capable of responding to the message in a way that mimics internal dialogue. The machine learning systems already involved in parsing the Voyager data are now being trained using biologically inspired architectures, neural nets that mimic cortical layers of mammalian brains. The goal is to observe how layers of perception might naturally interpret abstract structures, not through raw analysis, but through subjective construction of understanding. This is not simple translation. It is inference by immersion. The idea is to allow artificial systems to live in the signal long enough for meaning to arise rather than be extracted. If the message is designed to unlock only through interaction, then understanding may require a long-term engagement that feels more like meditation than computation. This has led to speculation that the message was embedded not in a narrow beam or broadcast, but into the medium of space itself. This supports the theory of gravitational information encoding, a highly advanced form of communication that uses space-time curvature or quantum entanglement to store and transmit data, accessible only under